Hi, and welcome back to We Drink and We Know Things. I'm your host, Pierson Ryan, along with my co-host, Bill Kiefer. And today, as you can see, we're talking wine openers.
That's right. You can see a bunch of different types of wine openers right here. But what we're going to start with today is what if you're in a jam? What if you are somewhere without a wine opener and you got a bottle of wine that you really need to open?
That's right. It could be on the road. It could be in a hotel room.
It could be
or maybe they don't have a
or
wine
maybe
key.
you're in Utah. Here's how you can do it. You take your shoe and you put the bottle of wine here like this, and you bang it against the wall or the table, and the cork will pop out. Now, I know it sounds a little medieval, but I'll tell you what, it works every single time. And if you need to open that bottle of wine, that's a good way to do it. But that's not the preferred way to open
Not the
wine,
most
right?
conventional.
It's not the most conventional. So we've got a bunch of different types here, Pierson. What's the one that we're not the biggest fan of?
I will say, if we're ranking them, definitely our number 4 on the table would be the old school T-bar, where it's not our favorite, I guess I would say, because it's a little bit flimsy. You have to use 2 hands on a bottle when it's on top of the table, and sometimes, Bill, I don't know about you, I've seen a bottle get knocked over. It can be
quite a few.
It can be very precarious, and sometimes because it's a little loose, it's not very sturdy. You can kind of go sideways into the cork and not go straight down. So this is one that I'm sure we've all got buried back in one of our drawers in our kitchen, but definitely not our favorite.
Definitely not.
No.
The second one is our what's called a waiter's key.
That's right.
A waiter's wine opener. And Pierson, you've got a version right there. So what's the story about these?
Yeah, so this is probably your most common wine key that you'll see, the waiter's key. It has the little knife here on the top in order to cut the foil off, which is another reason why I'm not crazy about the T, because you have to use the actual end of the corkscrew to kind of rip the foil off, and that gets all messy. So you can cut a nice clean circle around to get the top of the foil off. You have your traditional just corkscrew to go in. You do your little helicopter while you can hold the bottle so you have more of that stability. And then you put this little hinge on top and just lift the cork out nice and easy.
Yeah, so the hinge is a great feature of these types of wine keys because it's a 2-step process, but as far as leverage and everything, it's just super easy and very quick to open. That's why waiters love them, and that's why we prefer them. I prefer the thicker style. You can see here. This just gives me a little bit more leverage. It's got a little bit more oomph to it, so to speak. A little bit more mass behind it. And you can really just open these bottles really quickly. This is the one I prefer, but a waiter's key is the one that's my go-to for every single day. Now, the question becomes, what happens if you have an older bottle, about 10 years old, where the cork might be a little brittle?
Yeah.
Not
air could get into the bottle.
Yeah.
That's common. It doesn't mean that the bottle's gone bad, but it can wet the cork more and make it softer.
And we've all seen, trying to open a bottle when you break the cork. Well, if you want to avoid that, the next option would be what's called an asso. And you can see it right here, where it's got these 2 prongs, and they go on either side of the cork, and you kind of wiggle it in there. And the cork gets stuck in here, and you can just pull it right out. You twist it, it comes right out because it's that connection right there kind of pinches the cork and pulls it right out. Keeps it intact most of the time, very easy to use. But this is great for wines that are about 10 to 15 years old. You're not too sure about the cork. Maybe it's a little brittle.
And not only do they have it because of the old wines, but you can have people that are collectors of wines and collectors of corks. And if you have a beautiful bottle that maybe you've been saving to open up with the right friends or the right moment, you want to keep that cork as a commemorative thing. So using the asso is a great tool in order to make sure that it doesn't brittle up and break into the wine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, at the last resort in those old wines that are really not too sure about the cork, there's something called the Durand, and this is actually an ingenious invention here. What they did is they comboed the corkscrew with the asso. So what you do is you take the corkscrew and you put it in first, and then you use the asso on either side to really secure that cork and pull it out in one fell swoop, so to speak.
That's right.
I've used my Durand, I don't know how many times, and I have yet to break a cork. I've yet to had a cork disintegrate on me. These are absolutely essential if you've got a great collection of older wines and you really want to make sure that that cork comes out in a whole piece and not in piecemeal and breaking up. So just like the glassware, you want to make sure you're using the right glasses to drink the wines that you're drinking. You want to make sure you're using the correct tool to open those wines.
Correct.
Whether that be a shoe or all the way up to the Durand, we've got you covered. And there's a lot of ways to open wine. Those are the ones that we prefer. Drop a note down below as to the method or the tool that you prefer to use when you open your wines, and let us know what you think about these different options.
Cheers.
Salute.